Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1878, written by Not a Username 86. Everything's fine until a woman was frozen in time. Every morning, I have the same routine, more or less. This morning, my routine was no different. I ran up to my local gas station to buy an energy drink. It's something that I've done thousands of times. But this morning, I encountered something for the first time. A real-life, in real-time glitch. It has taken me hours to process what I saw, and even still, I have no idea how or why it happened. But here's what happened. I got to the store and parked my car, and I walked into the store like I do every day. I noticed there are 3 others in line, which is pretty normal for the time I usually go. I move past them and head towards the cooler that has the drink I want. I open the cooler and grab it, and move my way to stand in line to pay. Roughly 30-ish seconds from the time I walked into the door, the first guy pays for his black and mild and his lotto ticket and exits the store. Second person is a mom, and her school-aged child is in tow. They are getting apple juice and what I assume is a little snack for the child before school. They pay, everything is fine, and they head towards the exit. Normal. Everything is normal. But then, the third woman gets to the counter. She's a middle-aged woman, and she asks the clerk for a pack of menthol cigarettes. She lifts her hand to point at the pack she wants, and then suddenly, about 3/4 of the way through the movement, she stops. And not stops like she stopped moving her arm, but stops, as if she was frozen in time. I look around. The lady and her child are getting into their car. Cars are driving by on the main road. I look back at the lady. She's still not moving. Not even her clothing is moving. I look even harder. She doesn't even appear to be breathing. She's literally standing there, perfectly frozen in time, like someone hit the pause button. 10-ish seconds go by. The clerk says, "Ma'am?" No response from the woman. Again, the clerk asks, "Ma'am?" with even more concern in his voice. Again, no response. He looks to me in a way that said, "What the hell?" And I look back at him in a way that said, "No idea, dude." Another 10 seconds go by. She's still just standing there, motionless, in an awkward position. I start thinking, oh damn, is this lady having a bad drug reaction, or is she having a stroke, in my mind? I feel a little off and panicky about the situation. I then chime in, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She's still unresponsive and motionless. Then a few seconds later, after asking if she was okay, and this is what actually totally freaked me out to the max, the lady starts moving and speaking, but not in a normal manner, no. That could be explained, maybe. This lady literally started moving like someone had hit the fast forward button. Her arm completed the upwards movement, pointed at the smoke she wanted, and in an instant, as if several frames skipped, her arm was back down at her side, and then the position of her entire body changed, without moving. And then noise, opposed to words, that sounded very much like super speed-up audio came out of her mouth. The look of shock on the clerk's face let me know that he heard and saw the same thing. But then, just like that, everything went back to normal. The clerk scanned the pack of smokes, she pulled out her credit card at normal speed and paid for her item, and exited the store, like nothing strange at all happened. After the lady left the store, the clerk looked at me and said, I'm a regular face to him. Damn, dude, I need to stop taking drugs, that crap's crazy. To which I could only say, I feel you, maybe I need to stop too. For the record, I was not under the influence of drugs. Needless to say, nothing about the event was normal. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how something like that could happen except that it was a glitch. I mean, really. but maybe you had to be there to really understand. Regarding the possibility of a seizure, the way her body movements seemed to skip frames and be on fast forward seemed very unnatural. But maybe that's also something that happens with seizures? I got up 2 hours early to go to the store and asked the store clerk if they had a video of the events yesterday. He informed me that they should, but that he has no access to the room and laptop that contains the surveillance videos, and that only the store owner can access them. He subsequently informed me that the store owner will not be in until a bit later in the day. He said he will ask the owner to review the tape from yesterday. I also asked the clerk to describe to me what he saw, and he said, "Dude, that lady looked like someone hit the pause and then the server lagged." When I asked him if he thinks it could have been a seizure, he said he didn't know, but maybe. Question 1878. Everything's fine until a woman was frozen in time. No, I don't believe this could be a seizure or any sort of medical condition, because no medical condition I know of can accelerate the pace of one's movements like that to the extent that they skipped frames right in front of your eyes, and quite standard because there was the employee there too, the cashier who saw it all. So it's good that you don't feel crazy. Before you said that there was some accelerated skipping of frames, I figured, okay, this is probably one of those organic pranks that they pull. People will just go out and anywhere in the world, anywhere in society, and have a group of people, sometimes alone, and they'll just act in a certain bizarre way, like suddenly stopping, pretending to be motionless. But you can't suddenly start to prank people by skipping frames. How would you do that? Unless you're as fast as Bruce Lee, but I'm guessing she wasn't. Probably a processing error in the server, the local cluster. That would be my guess. And if that's the case, then if you do see footage from the security cameras, then those usually record at very low frame rates. So I don't think you get much information from it, besides not really seeing the movements in the camera. Case file number 1879, written by Chesh14. The tire was found. A desert miracle was profound. This happened about 25 years ago. Two friends, let's call them D and J, and I were moving across the country from Georgia to Arizona. We packed up everything we owned into 2 cars, put CB radios in them to keep in contact while driving, and headed across the country on Interstate 40. We stopped occasionally for breaks, switched drivers, etc., so we did not get overly tired. 2 days in, we were just about to cross the New Mexico-Arizona state line at about midnight. D and I were in the car in the lead, and J was driving behind us. Right before the state line, D and I see the headlights suddenly veer off the road. We called him up on the CB, and he said he was rattled, but okay. He did not know what happened, but something was wrong with his car. We get off at the next exit, double back, and find J. By that time, he had figured out he had a blowout. His left front tire was completely shredded. It was really just ribbons of rubber hanging off the rim. And of course, he did not have a spare. So, we unpacked some stuff from the first car, and the 3 of us drove off to find some truck stop or something where we could get a new tire. About 5 miles past the state line, we find this tiny little truck stop that just happens to have a garage with tire service, though the garage wasn't open at night. When the owner got in and heard what we needed, he grabbed a replacement tire, and we drove behind his truck out to where we had left the car. But when we got there, the tire was just flat. All 3 of us had seen it shredded just a few hours before. The guy from the garage just turned on his compressor and filled it up. He said it was weird that it had gone flat all of a sudden like that. He said the tire should be destroyed the way Jay described, that the car suddenly jerked to the side. But he also seemed completely unplussed. He was a very old guy who seemed to have seen a lot of weird stuff out there in the middle of the desert. The tire remained just fine for the rest of the trip. It did not have any problems until a few months later, when it developed a slow leak. Question file 1879. The tire was found. A desert miracle that was profound. So I want to say that this was multiverse related. In that one universe you really did have this tire that was completely eviscerated, And in the originating universe, it was just a flat, lost air. Significant difference, but nothing that can't be explained by different permutations of reality. I mean, most things can be explained that way, really, if you think about it. Now time for the joke of the day. What do you call an old snowman? A jug of water. Melted away. Poor Jack Frost. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.